Hi and welcome. It's Peg, and today is the second Sunday, and that means it's time for the second Sunday hop. And that means a bunch of my friends on YouTube have gotten together to create art content for you, and it's all in a Premiere format. So come and join us, won't you? Let's create. So first I want to tell you about something that my friend Chelsea and I have been doing, and she will be hopping along with us, but Shell and I have been doing artist trading cards each June, and it's a hashtag event. So I did several different ATCs concerning Frida because the topic for today, one of the topics for today for this hop was Frida Kahlo. So I'm going to create ATC based on Frida Kahlo's life. We're celebrating her birthday, and so I thought I would get out some colorful inks and just create. So an ATC is 2.5 by 3.5, in case you didn't know that. And I'm going to grab some of these distress inks. I'm just putting it on a piece of acetate, and I'm using these green colors in combination. I'm going to spritz that with water, and then I'm going to apply that to my ATC background. Now, there will be a lot of drying and that sort of thing going on, so I'm going to cut that out of the video so you don't have to watch that. But if you're interested in what we're doing, come and follow us on Instagram or any other social media, and you'll see what we're doing. All you need to do is search the hashtag ATCAD2021, and you'll see a lot of artists that are creating artist trading cards. And you can search that same hashtag right here on YouTube. So the two Frida cards that you saw originally will be in a separate video because this is just 15 minutes so that you can move on and see the other artists that are part of Second Sunday Hop. And I am just creating this one background using that acetate and a ink, distress ink from Ranger. So you need to dry in between the layers so that you get that watermark effect on the background. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm putting it down, drying it down, and then we'll have our background ready to go. And then I'm going to grab a stencil. You know, one of my favorite things besides stamps is stencils. So first I grab this stamp. This stamp is from, it's a gel press texture plate from Carabella Studio, yeah. And I like the kind of cosmic look to that. You know, Frida had a different sort of life. She started out just fine as a young person, and about the age of 6 she got polio, and so she had one leg that was smaller than the other, and she had to wear braces. And then later, when she was a teenager, she was in a horrific bus accident that injured her back, and she spent many, many, many days in bed, and they had to put her in body casts that were what they called a corset, but they didn't look like a corset to me. They looked like concrete cement blocks. And some of them they even decorated with symbolism. Frida was from Mexico, and she joined the Communist Party, and so she had some of the symbols even painted on her corset. So this particular stencil is a heart with a dagger through it with flowers around it, and I thought it was very symbolic for Frida. She had a big heart. She loved her country. She loved her husband, even though he was kind of a wandering eye fellow. They ended up divorcing, and in later years they got back together, but it was platonic. But Frida wore very traditional clothing. She wore a lot of jewelry and flowers in her hair. Her skirts were long, so it would cover her deformities. And she was just a very, very interesting person. She was an artist in her own right, but her husband's fame was known more so than she was in the early years. So I'm coloring the image in, the stenciled image in, with these Nouveau brush markers. They're vibrant colors, and she loved vibrant colors. If you look at her wardrobe, it varied. You know, most of the people in the time were going to different sort of attire, but she wore very traditional clothing with the long skirts, the embroidered handwork on them, uh, braided hair, just a different sort of look for what was going on in the 30s. So I'm adding some words to this, and the words say conquer fears. And I'm sure that as she was facing all this adversity, she had plenty of fears that needed conquering. So I'm getting out some pens. I'm going to do a little pen work on here. I'm also going to add some pencil, and then I go to some Sennelier dimensional paint, and you'll see that come out here real shortly. So I think Frida is best known for her portraits. She did a lot of self-portraits, and that's because as she was recuperating and, you know, in this body cast, she was in bed for quite a bit of time, and so her mother hung a mirror over her bed so that she could look at herself, and she had her paints and things in bed with her, and so she would do these self-portraitures from looking at her own reflection in the mirror. But her paintings reflected her chronic pain, what she was going through. She was a self-taught painter, which I think is very interesting. Um, Diego Rivera was her spouse, and he uh, was doing large works, and she would help with some of the work that he was doing. Anyway, she met Diego through her Mexican Communist Party in 1927, and they were married, I think, in the 30s. Could be. I don't have the whole history here, but Anyway, she remained relatively unknown until the late 70s. Her work was rediscovered by art historians and political activists. Anyway, Frida drew from Mexican folk art. She had colorful paintings with a lot of florals. She loved the garden. They had monkeys and things in their garden. And then she also depicted the reality of the pain and death and uh, she had a fascination with violence and death. Anyway, there are a lot of not just her self-portraits that you'll see that she did, but also there were a lot of portraitures done of her in photographs that were taken of her because her lover found that she was very photogenic, and so there are a lot of interesting photos of her where it depicts the two sides of her personality. I was privileged enough to see an exhibition of both Diego's and Frida's work when I went to North Carolina. And the museum there had a wonderful exhibition of both artists' work. The picture that really I found the most interesting was the one that she had done of one of Diego's lovers. It was not real flattering, to say the least. Anyway, I was very taken with the display of her clothing and jewelry. I could see how it would suit her so that, it would complement her figure and her deformities so that but she didn't try to fit in. She tried to be her own individual. And being self-taught, she did mixed media, which is what this piece is. You can see that I've used ink and paint and pens and lots of different things on particular cards. So I'm trying to I'm trying to emulate Frida's style with what I've done here. I hope you enjoyed this. Be sure and check below for the links for the other hoppers, and check out ATC A Day 2021. And if you want to see the other two Frida ATCs that I did, come back to my channel because they will be out shortly. Thanks for watching. I enjoyed being with you today, and happy birthday to Frida.